Hi, hello. So this is part 2 of maybe 3 of the 30 nuggets of little things that I've been learning. Like a series that I wanted to share around my 31st birthday. So picking up where we left off last time, the 11th item on my list is like religious and spiritual freedom of exploration and expression. So really just like more generally and broadly, having an open mind and curiosity when it comes to exploring topics of this nature. I feel like you can almost always learn something from someone or a faith group if you allow yourself into a curious and open-minded space. I think some of the connections between different religions are astounding and really interesting and insightful. But I don't think we often give ourselves permission to explore and make connections, because it feels like, at least in my own lived experience, there's been a lot of like divisiveness and like contentiousness baked into like religious paths as being, or religious entities as being separate in nature. And what I have found over the last 6 months to a year of my own like spiritual path and opening has been, it feels like there's a lot more overlap in areas of ways in which people are similar than in which they're different, and it doesn't feel like that's all together appreciated or acknowledged for the most part. So just some notes of what I'm experiencing there. And I don't think I would have given myself permission to explore and learn in this way, while also staying rooted in some of my own key values and using discernment. If I'd stayed in a place that was so like closed off based on just being in this state of like church hurt because of some of the experiences that I had growing up in the church, and ways in which that I became hurt and disillusioned and confused because of the actions of people. And it kind of turned me off of organized religion. And anyways, so I've kind of expanded the way I view these things and have been able to cultivate more of an open mind around it. And it's been a really beautiful and expansive experience, instead of previously like not wanting to like touch or open myself to those parts and pieces because it was so tinged with bad experiences. So just some thoughts there, that there's a lot of beauty within that space too, within those spaces rather, a lot of beauty and a lot of areas of agreement too. Anyways, number 11 is, and I wrote these several weeks ago, so I might just kind of read these off as we go, and some things might be mystery surprise as I read, because I'm just getting back into this after a couple weeks. So number 12 is to not underestimate the power of showing up as regulated as possible and maximizing your chances that your body isn't going to be able to sabotage you. So this could be basic and it could look different for different people, but doing what you can. So for me, that sometimes looks like, or oftentimes really, as much as I can whenever I leave the house, even if it's just for like an appointment, or if I am gonna go like to a fitness class and then do a coffee shop and be gone for like half the day. Whatever it is, I try to like pack a snack, some water, a notepad. So if that's important to you, to have just a place to like jot your thoughts, or if you're reading a book and you want to have that with you, chapstick or like a lip moisturizer, lotion, especially in winter, especially in Chicago, not as key here in Florida with this beautiful heat and humidity that we have down here, but in Chicago, definitely like a hand lotion. Going to the bathroom before you leave places, like just trying to like ensure that you're not ending up hungry, thirsty, having to go to the bathroom, like just in a state where you're more easily going to be heightened and not in a good place physically, and that is going to roll over into how you're reacting to things. So that's a little thing there. And then 13 is similarly, I've found and I'm finding I'm much more able to extend myself and help others when I'm doing so from a place of overflow. We can become conditioned or socialized to give and give and give. I think especially as women, even if our cups themselves haven't been tended to. And I can't fully or nearly at all speak to this from the perspective of motherhood or parenthood, because that hasn't really been my path in life so far. But simply speaking from my path as a single woman with 2 cats, so that counts in some regard for parenthood, I suppose. But anyways, good luck on that regard. Like as a parent, because the challenges that that encompasses are vast. So this piece has a heavy disclaimer of this is going to look different for everybody. But for me, I've realized that if I'm pouring into myself and tending to myself physically, emotionally, just in all the ways, I am going to be in a much better position to want to extend out and support others. So that's that one. Number 14 is paying in cash. I kept this one pretty simple for what I wrote here. But some places will offer discounts because you're not using like credit card, so there aren't like credit card transaction fees. Also, I feel like with a lot of things, not just like digital services, but with a lot of things, sometimes we inadvertently trade convenience for, how do I say this? We're not necessarily always realizing what we're trading in these exchanges. Like by using a credit card, yes, it's easy, it's fun, it's cute, it's sexy. It's so much easier than carrying around cash and doing it like the old way. But we are also creating this massive digital footprint of like, where are we going? Where's Miss Jordan heading? What's she spending her little pennies on? Like, and I don't know, just having thoughts and feelings in this big age of a lot of digital surveillance and things like that. And just having thoughts and feelings similar to what I mentioned in my last video on like, we do have freedom to choose. Like there are other ways to spend and exchange resources and money. And so maybe I don't always need to use a credit card. Like maybe I can use cash sometimes if I get a discount, if the store or the shop prefers it. If I don't feel like being tracked that day, like, I don't know, like we have the freedom to choose. So like, I'm just exercising my free will and I'm just choosing a different behavior sometimes. Crazy girl. Number 15. So going back-ish to media and entertainment consumption, playing with old stuff. So while I've been down here in Florida, the last month and a half or so, I don't think I've mentioned that in my last video, but been here, staying with my parents for a minute. While I've been down here, I got a record player at this old thrift shop across from my old elementary school. Wild, cool. So then of course I've also picked up like some records, some cassettes. So it plays the radio, it plays records, and it plays cassettes. And then my car also has a CD player that I don't think I've ever used, but I bought a CD while I was down here shopping for records. and for the first time, like played a CD in my car. And so that was just like a cool, fun, exhilarating feeling to like pop the CD in and play that. And I don't know, I'm just kind of like reflecting lately on this interesting evolution we've seen with smartphones, especially, and how they can do so much, right? And like it's been like this really, in some ways up until now, I've experienced it and perceived it as a very cool and exciting and like evolutionary process with which you can not only use it to call someone, but you can text someone, you can play games, right? Like these are the things you could do initially, but you can do these things, but you can also GPS systems, maps, music, like instead of an iPod being separate, you now have your iPod on your phone, some music, streaming services, social media, LinkedIn, you can get a job from your phone, you can get emails on your phone, you don't have to go to your mailbox anymore. Like it's just, we have just whoosh, we put so much into these little devices, right? Like cool, right? Like hypothetically, like super, super cool. But I'm also starting to just kind of sit on that for a second, chew on that for a moment, and realize actually like this doesn't feel all the way so cool, and I would really like to decouple some of this stuff, because like my phone is a black box. Like I open my phone and what direction am I heading in? Like I thought I was going to do this one thing, but now like, oh my gosh, like so-and-so has reached out, they have a question about this, I feel like I should respond to them, because if I don't, what are they gonna think? And oh, then I also saw like there's a deal on this, like do I need groceries now? Like there's so much, and the level of like cognitive load that is incurred by simply interacting with my phone, which is supposed to be a tool, which is supposed to be a helper, a little supportive opportunity, an option. I'm just realizing ways in which this doesn't feel so helpful. This feels kind of overwhelming, and like maybe that's just me and my brain having a moment here. But it has actually felt like, ooh, I don't need to take my phone to the gym. I know where the gym is. I know how to get there. And I don't need to listen to anything in the car, period. I can drive in silence. That's cool. That's fun. That's chill. But if I did want to listen to something like cool, fun, hello, like I can just turn the CD on. Like I don't need to bring my phone at all. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be like a major emergency like in the car. I don't know. I think I'm good on that. Like I don't need to bring my phone everywhere. Like it's a choice that I get to make when I go places, whether or not it makes sense to bring this tool with me. It's not like this weird assumed situation that like you're with me at all times. It's an opportunity. It's a potential. Anyways, this all started talking about a record player, and now we're here talking about phones. Somewhat related, because when I was buying the record player, there was like a landline phone right next to it, and I did have like a curious little thought of like, should I? But then when I mentioned that to my dad, he said like, I don't even think we have the hookups for that in the home anymore. Like, do houses not have the hookups for landlines anymore? Is that not an option for us to use anymore? Like, I don't know, but just following that thread for a second, it gave me a moment of like weird relief and just like an interesting thought stream of like, what if I wasn't all the way accessible to everybody all the time? Like, and someone had to just like call my home phone, leave a message, and like, I'll get back to you in a couple days. Like, what if that was normal and we weren't just like constantly like expecting people to respond right away? Like no shade to anybody, but like life feels like just so much, and are we adding to it by like this weird like always online expectation for each other. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's that one. Number 16, developing like a screaming or like a sighing practice. So I don't know about you, but for me, growing up and even into adulthood and even into my marriage, like, I didn't do it on purpose, but there were, I remember times throughout my life that my family or my ex-husband would comment on me sighing and it sounding like I was like exasperated. And I wasn't exasperated, I was just like sighing. I was just trying to like expel air and like move it through my body. And it wasn't something I was doing like consciously to make like a verbal sigh. It was just happening. And if you watch, maybe it was like that, which has happened, I don't know. But if you watch my last video where I talked about like breathing and some of the issues that I had and didn't realize I had until I started anti-anxiety medication in 2023, if you watch that part, or if you pretty much just summed it up there, I don't think I was sighing from like a good place. I think it was like pent up something trying to get out. But anyways, yeah, I've lately, the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 to 10 months, like, been experimenting with screaming. Like, I may have seen a video online, I don't know if that's where it came from, but just realized, several years ago, I remember wanting to scream and feeling like I have nowhere to do this. Like, where would I go? Could I go out in the woods? Like, because I don't want anyone to think I'm actually like needing help. Like, I know, like, I felt like there was something in me that wanted to come out, but I didn't want to worry other people. So then I just like didn't put it off. But then like, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, I was like, oh, like I just scream in a pillow at home, like chill, fine, cool, fun, whatever. So that's what I do sometimes, not all the time. I know when I need to, want to, and then I do. And so I do it in a pillow at home and then in the car. So I'm not concerning anybody else. I'm not doing it in such a way that draws attention. I don't want to be perceived when I'm doing it, but it's just simply an opportunity to get something in me out to express. The other things that I wrote here are, like scream, sigh practices, make noise, take up space, be a little bit of a freak. I feel like I've been a freak with my free will lately, and it's probably going to continue. Like, obviously not in a way that you're infringing on someone else's peace, but it's okay and healthy to let that stuff out and get it moving. Like, let's get it going. Like, we shouldn't be keeping like so much just like in us that it just turns to like icky and just stuck. So get it out, like try to just move it, anyways. Say stuff out loud too. Like, if there are things that like keep you up at night, feel stuck inside, that you have never told another person out loud, write it down, put it in a journal if you're not ready to talk about it with someone, or if you're lucky enough to have someone safe in your life that you can speak with about it, tell someone else. It will ease you from it. It will help you breathe lighter. It'll help you sigh and scream, I promise. Number 17, and I'm gonna end this video at 20, so I'm gonna try to like speed through these and not go on too many tangents, because I know that these videos are long and I don't think that that's great, and I'm so sorry, but I've realized that making these YouTube videos are a lot more like for me and my process than to have this be anything that is like perfectly packaged for anybody else. So sorry. Number 17, pay attention-ish, speak up, have conversations. I feel like there are some really weird silos happening in the world right now. Let's please try not to forget how to discuss matters kindly and respectfully and productively. I feel like these are skills that we are losing rapidly, and I feel like we should probably not. I think we should try to retain these. They feel important. I wrote, there's a lot happening all the time, it seems. Consume information as wisely as you can. Only you are going to know what that means for you. Take breaks. Try to hear different perspectives. It's okay to go slow. It's okay to not know everything. That's the point. Like, we're each just one person. We only know what we know. Try not to disengage entirely. You don't need to engage in everything. Don't get lost in it. Information overload is a cognitive overwhelm tactic. You are paying for your phone. You are also paying for your government through your taxes. Be mindful of these things. We also pay not just with money, we pay with our energy and our attention and what we engage in, what we support. Be mindful, be thoughtful, be encouraged, be caring. I have issues are rarely black and white. Try to stretch yourself to see the gray. Try to remember our shared humanity. Despite what someone's sex or where they were born, we are all human. Even beyond that, consider our earth, the animals on our earth, our resources, these things, not just man-made resources. Consider these things. Consider the things we need to live, like air and water, and like our connection to others. Just consider these things, just like food for thought. Number 18, relatedly, I've been finding healing and wholeness and connecting more deeply with myself, those around me, the community, and Earth. So I didn't realize I was going to talk about that one here because I wrote this a couple weeks ago. Obviously, it's on my mind. I believe that we live in reciprocal relationships. I've seen healing and love transform these areas as I've worked on my inner relationship with myself and with God and the Holy Spirit and with Jesus. So I am finding, and I've found that as I work more inwardly and tend to those around me and the earth around me, it tends back. Number 19, deeply knowing that I am always where I'm meant to be, even when I might be uncomfortable or confused, that I can rest in peace, that there is something I am meant to learn through the process. I just need to show up with integrity and do the best that I can, to speak kindly and honestly to others in love, and to always do my best, realizing that that's going to look different every day, every week, every month, every year. I've fully, wholeheartedly accepted that this last 9 months of this sabbatical period, like, this has not been a period where I am making income and investing and saving for retirement. This is a heavy period of self-investment and pouring into myself and healing old wounds and really excavating like my past and going deep in those ways. So my best is so good these days, but it's so different from what it has been in years prior, where I was like, ooh, like, what degree am I going to finish this year? And what job am I going to get? And what is my salary? And like all these things that like I was so driven by, like, it felt like success. It felt like what success was supposed to feel like what someone else, I guess, had told me success was going to feel like and look like. But now I've just been on a path of like redefining success. Like, what does that look and feel like for me? And it's a good path. I've found peace in this path. Okay, number 20, last one here. Getting quiet enough again to listen to and trust the inner voice and knowing. So being in this season of sabbatical, which is funny, I didn't know I was going to talk about that one in this one when I talked about it in the last one. I know that I'm being prepared for what's next, even though I don't know what that is. I'm trusting my path and my calling, not needing the full roadmap. just the immediate next steps. Sometimes that's all you get. And I've developed a certain level of comfort and courage to be able to trust in that. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I will share the next, or really the final segment of this in the next, I don't know, little bit. And then I'm also going to be sharing some like bite-sized like excerpts and highlights from this series on some other platforms at some point too. So be on look out for that. I might share like some other examples and like photos and just some other little goodies and excerpts as I prepare that little series. But thank you if you made it this far. Thank you for watching and witnessing this, even though it's a little chaotic. And yeah, I'll share with you, I've got some little props here from the beaches of Florida. So this is a sand dollar that I found here. So hope you have a lovely day. Bye.